and welcome to Visions. I'm Helen Rochecouste and our special guest today is Philip Benwell, the National Chairman of the Australian Monarchist League. Hello Philip and welcome to the program.
Hello.
So Philip, as Australia moves into the 21st century, is it appropriate that we have a foreign monarch as head of state?
Well, actually, the Queen is not a foreign monarch. Whilst we use the crown of the United Kingdom as our crown, we have moulded it to become specifically an Australian entity. The Queen is Queen of Australia by act of the Australian Parliament, both in 1954 and in 1974. What we have now is a uniquely Australian constitution protecting the freedom and the liberty of the Australian people. So it is very appropriate to maintain our system as it is.
Yes, thank you. So why should Australia share a head of state with Britain as our economic future is in Asia?
Well, in the first instance, we really have our system of governance on the cheap. We don't pay the Queen a salary. We don't pay for the expenses of the Queen. If people write to the Queen and the Queen responds, or Buckingham Palace responds, we don't pay for that letter that is sent. We have a Governor-General who really is very cost-effective, whereas if we had a president, goodness knows how much that would cost.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and when we look at the economic situation, if our current major trading partner is China, does that mean that you want to have a Chinese president or a Chinese head of state to accommodate China? Or if it becomes India, that we should have an Indian head of state or an Indian president? Or in 20 years' time, if Russia is the major trading partner, that we should have a Russian head of state? I mean, it's ridiculous. What we have within our Australian system is something that maintains the stability of our governance. It maintains our democracy. It has made Australia, one of the newest nations in the world, into the 7th oldest democracy. And I think that speaks for itself.
Yes, proven.
And we have economic stability because we have political stability. We have political stability because we are a constitutional monarchy.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Philip. So the British Crown is the cornerstone of our constitutional liberty. In 1901, if Australians drew up a constitution with an absentee monarchy, aren't we intelligent and mature enough to draw up a new republican constitution?
Well, in the first instance, as I've explained, we don't look on it as the British Crown. It's the Australian Crown. The Queen is answerable to her Australian ministers. We have nothing whatsoever to do with the British government, even though the Queen is the Queen of the United Kingdom. Insofar as Australia is concerned, she is Queen of Australia, answerable to her Australian ministers and to the Australian people.
Yes, that's right. So, getting back to the second part of the question, you know, being intelligent and mature enough to draw up a new republican constitution?
Well, if we were, or Republicans were intelligent and mature enough to draw up a republican constitution, don't you think they would have done it by now? I mean, we've had 20 years of virtually continuous debate on constitutional change. We've had a constitutional advisory committee headed by Malcolm Turnbull. We've had a constitutional convention 10 years ago. We've had a referendum 9 years ago, which was defeated in all 6 states as well as nationwide. It was a massive defeat. I mean, actually, 72% of electorates voted against a republic and to retain our system.
Yes, yes.
So I think if we were intelligent enough to draw up a republican system, surely that would have been done by now.
Yes, yes, that's a
so
very good point.
Intelligence has got nothing to do with it.
Yes, that's right. So the British monarch does not fulfil any role in Australian governance. Why maintain the fiction that Australia is a monarchy when we're already a de facto republic?
Well, we're not a de facto republic. We're a constitutional monarchy, which is something totally different from a republic. I mean, monarchists may talk about a crowned republic, and even I've talked about a crowned republic, but we're not a crowned republic. We're a constitutional monarchy, which is totally different. We have a different system of government, and a system that works, whereas republics have been proven not to work so effectively as our system.
Yes, yes. And the point that I think that's very important is that the constitutional monarchy is for the people, as opposed to a, the Republican constitution being for the politicians.
Exactly, yes. The Crown is responsible to the people. And if this were not so, how could the people themselves have decided in 1999 whether to retain it or not?
Yeah, that's right. And that's one of the reasons people would have voted against that referendum, to keep that power.
Exactly. The Queen is a trustee of our Constitution, an unobtrusive trustee. And the power of the nation is maintained within the Crown and kept from the hands of politicians. We elect politicians to temporary governance, not permanent governance, temporary governance. But the permanent power of the nation is reposed in the Crown. And that's why our system works so well, because if the Queen does nothing else but be there and keep politicians from absolute power, then she's done a tremendous job.
Yes, absolutely. So, Philip, given that Queen Elizabeth is widely revered in Australia, should Australia move to become a republic after the Queen's reign ends?
Well, I don't think our system of governance should be dependent on the life of a person, even one so revered as the Queen. I mean, Her Majesty has done a tremendous job, and Republicans, of course, quite understand that the Queen has selflessly dedicated her whole life to service of her people.
That's right. And so what we'll do now, Philip, we shall go to break and we'll continue this when we return.
Yes.
Thank you. So
Thank
as
you.
we go to break, stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes.